Hey, Kamala, what are we going to say to Donald Trump in November?
Bye, bye, bye.
Half of you won't get that, okay? You. Okay. Reading time?
It says, so what is the problem? At the same time, I said, is there a problem with that? Yep, I saw that. Yep, you're reported. This guy. Wait a minute, bro. He thinks he's slick? He thinks he's slick, huh?
Ooh, and he got him through the history. Don't link me Elon tweets. I blocked him. Okay, I don't want to see this fucking retard tweeting.
I, Kamala Harris, and your Democrat candidate for president, because Joe Biden finally exposed his senility of the debate. Thanks, Joe. I was selected because I am the ultimate diversity hire. I'm both a woman and a person of color. So if you criticize anything I say, you're both sexist and racist. I may not know the first thing about running the country, but remember.
Also, remember, just remember this. Every single argument that conservatives made about Section 230, about how platforms should be treated as publishers, okay? Just because there were political opinions on there that they don't like, that we should treat them as publishers now because they're banning people who are racist Nazis, right? All of those arguments were bullshit because now the CEO of Twitter is publishing stuff that is clearly like opinion shit and nobody gives a fuck about that. Conservatives are absolutely silent on this. But just as a heads up.
That's a good thing if you're a deep state puppet. I had
like every single conspiracy theory about George Soros is now invalid when one of the richest men on the planet who bought one of the largest social media companies on the planet is now posting deepfake AI misinformation on that social media on his ownership account. Okay? Like every conspiracy theory you ever thought you had about Soros or Bill Gates or anybody else is just completely defunct. Like, this is so out of the open. What the fuck?
4 years under the tutelage of the ultimate deep state puppet, a wonderful mentor, Joe Biden. Joe taught me rule number 1, carefully hide your total incompetence. I take insignificant things and I discuss them as if they're significant. And I believe that exploring the significance of the insignificant is in itself significant.
Talking about the significance of the passage of time, right? The significance of the passage of time. So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time, and there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Could you imagine Mark Zuckerberg on Facebook or Jeff Bezos in, what would an Amazon equivalent social media be? Maybe Twitch, I guess? Like posting a deep fake video of Donald Trump making like a fake speech like this. Like conservatives would actually like shit and piss out of their eye sockets. That's how fucking mad they would be.
Another trick is trying to sound black. I pretend to celebrate Kwanzaa, and in my speeches, I always do my best Barack Obama impression.
So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
And okay, look, maybe my work addressing the root causes of the border crisis were catastrophic, but my knowledge of international politics is truly shocking.
The United States shares a very important relationship, which is an alliance with the Republic of North Korea. It is an alliance that is strong and enduring.
And just remember, when voting this November, it is important to see what can be unburdened by what has been. And by what has been, I mean Joe Biden. You think the country went to shit over the past 4 years? You ain't seen nothing yet.
Okay, I don't care. I don't want it. What do you think would happen if Elon was the exact opposite and stand the left instead? He'd probably be getting called into 50 million congressional hearings like the fuckers did for fucking Zuckerberg and everything else, huh? Okay. No more wasting time. That video was made by Mr. Reagan. Oh, I remember debating that guy a long time ago. He was like an epic centrist, center-leaning conservative, right? Who ended up being a full hack fuck Trump sellout. Who was the guy that didn't trust black doctors? Was that... It wasn't Nuance, bro, right? I don't remember who that was. Oh, was that Mr. Reagan? Oh, maybe it was. Yeah, maybe he was the one making that argument. Bum, bum, bum. Okay. Get my water bottle. It's right here. Okay. We've got the elector scheme. We have, okay, pressuring the AG for false election claims. Okay, this was the last one real quick before we get to the events on the day of. I want to incorporate these things into the above writing. What are these videos?
Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued. Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue.
For future debate, insurrection debates, how will you avoid a repeat of the Wilson debate where he refused to define insurrection and get you the points? I'll just be more strict on it. Like I said, this is an autismo testing of like a particular definition. I don't think future debates will look anything like the Andrew one. I just won't allow them to loop on certain points anymore.
Hey, you there?
Yep, you got 1 minute. What's up?
Yeah, I was wondering if you ever bought my OnlyFans. Somebody was asking me.
Not yet.
Okay.
Love you.
All right, take care, dude.
We've got quote minus Mike Pence. Was this on, when did this air? Did this air on August 2nd, 2023? Pence reacts to Trump indictment, Fox News. August 3rd, 2023. Okay, I think it was the day because it was when the indictments came out, I think. Do you think that Andrew just isn't well read on the subject, especially compared to you? I personally think that was the issue at hand. He took the debate for clout without being fully knowledgeable. Well, he tries to debate on philosophy. Actually, funnily enough, he kind of does it's a Vosh tactic where if you can't win on substance, you try to win on argumentation. So basically, like, fuck, I don't have the substance to actually debate the point. So what I'm going to try to do is get him on some like prop logic and say that something is a non sequitur or is irrational or illogical, and then you try to win on those grounds. That's also why he didn't want to give his own definition of insurrection, because he had none, right? He has no historical or legal understanding in order to put forth any kind of positive argument at all, right? Mm-hmm. It should be illegal for news sites to have these fucking videos at the top of an article when the video is totally fucking unrelated to the article itself. Do you think this is going to be related to the article? Or do you think it's going to be like current news?
This so-called
Oh, it is going to be related.
January 6th
Okay.
charging document indicting Donald Trump.
So-called. Is it bad to argue on philosophical grounds if you concede that is what you're doing and are just curious, Destiny? It's not necessarily bad to argue on like logic grounds, but like if you're trying to have a good argument, then the goal should be to help the other person. Like you're not trying to hardcore nail them on some prop logic. You're trying to like get more to the substance of the debate, right? Jesus Christ, this site is aged.
January 6th charging document indicting Donald Trump on. He now has the sole distinction.
That was one of the most demagogic.
We all know what this is. This do not even.
Oh,
against
they don't have
Trump.
anything about fucking Biden here. Good one. Are we getting an Israeli trip documentary soon? Nope, that's completely and totally done. I'm not showing anything. I wasted all my money going there, and I'm not going to show any of it on stream ever. That's the plan. Is it this?
Is he gonna be here?
It's late.
Do you think we could get some boba?
What's boba?
Who knows?
He's here.
Who is it?
So, I hear some of you are concerned about the fact that I'm taking over the company from my great uncle.
Yeah, I actually heard a few I'm terrifieds, like from Dave.
Marcy, that was in confidence.
Well, rest assured, Dave, the company's in great hands. Hit the vid, Marcy.
Now?
Yeah, now.
We're bringing together the nation's agents in a super comprehensive agent directory.
You know he bought a helicopter.
gathering up close detailed info.
Okay, I'm bored now.
I mean, I had no right to overturn the election, and despite the fact that President Trump has continued to insist that over the last 2.5 years, I want people.
On which show is he on here? We'll just say on Fox News, August 2nd, 2023.
I had no right to overturn the election, and despite the fact that President Trump has continued to insist that over the last 2.5 years, I want people to know that I stood strong on the Constitution that day, by God's grace, and I always will.
You know, you may have heard his attorneys last night saying that this is a free speech discussion. That's all it was. And that all they asked you to do was to just take a pause that day. John Eastman emailed your legal counsel stating, I implore you to consider one more relatively minor violation of the Electoral Count Act and adjourn for 10 days to allow the legislators to finish their investigations and a full forensic audit of what he called the massive amount of illegal activity that has occurred here. They're saying all you needed to do was just take a pause. What do you say to that?
I say that's completely false, and it's contrary to American history, to our Constitution, and to the laws of this country. And I never considered it, Martha. Look, when the first time I heard speculation that as vice president I'd have the authority to overturn the election by returning or rejecting votes. I frankly dismissed it out of hand. Look, the founders of this country had just won a war of independence against a king. And I was confident as a student of American history that those founders would have never vested the vice president or anyone else with unilateral authority.
Okay, we're 0.5ing it. I can't keep up.
Confident as a student of American history that those founders would have never vested the vice president or anyone else with unilateral authority to decide what electoral college votes to count and which not to count. I was clear on that throughout. I was clear with President Trump throughout, all the way up to the morning of January 6th. But let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they asked for a pause. The president specifically asked me, and his gaggle of crackpot lawyers asked me to literally reject votes, which would have resulted in the issue being turned over to the House of Representatives, and literally chaos would have ensued. So, Martha, I just people can read the indictment, and frankly, I've said before, I had hoped it had not come to this point. You know, I don't know if the government can meet the standard, the burden of proof beyond reasonable doubt for criminal charges But the American people deserve to know that President Trump and his advisors didn't just ask me to pause, they asked me to reject votes, return votes, essentially to overturn the election. And to keep faith with the oath that I made to the American people and to Almighty God. I rejected that out of hand, and I did my duty that day.
Jesus, okay. Destiny, I agreed with your point in the Andrew Wilson debate, except when you said it is not possible to argue from neutral. It is not possible, or it is possible to disprove the opponent's position without endorsing the contrapositive. For example, person 1, God is real. Person 2, I don't know if God is real, but you can't know either because knowledge of God is impossible. Okay, I am open to a well-educated person in logic telling me that I'm incorrect on this. However, I don't believe I'm incorrect on this. That wouldn't be a neutral position, okay? Agnostics do not have a neutral position on whether or not God is real or false. Maybe like in common parlance, you could say, oh, well, you're agnostic. You don't have I don't know. It could be or it couldn't be, maybe, maybe not, right? To say that you're neutral on something seems to be you saying that it could be true or it could be false, and I'm not telling you if I think it's true or false, okay? An agnostic is not saying that they're neutral on the existence of God. An agnostic is saying that knowledge of God is not obtainable. You cannot know about this particular thing. It's not a statement of neutrality. It's a rejection of, in a way, it's a rejection of the question, and it's a challenge to a type of knowledge that you can have. So, no, that's not a neutral position to take on God. Agnostics are not neutral on the existence of God. Well, in common parlance they might be, they don't know what they're saying. But an agnostic is saying that you can't have knowledge about God. You can never, there is no truth value for a human being to ever say God is real or God is not real, right? An agnostic also doesn't say God isn't real. An agnostic will say you cannot have knowledge of anything that would be a God. It's not a neutral position. Now, unless you want to say that his position is you cannot ever define the word insurrection, or you can't have knowledge of the word of insurrection, that like ontologically vocabulary is like inaccessible to humans, or definitions are inaccessible to humans, then maybe you could use the agnostic comparison, but yeah. Okay. No, not true. Fuck. Okay, where are we? This was on August 2nd, 2023. 2023. August is the 8th month. Fox News. August 2nd. Okay, so that's one Pence quote. What is this? Oh, cute. It's the exact same link we ended up finding. Okay, don't need this. And then what is this?
Let's be clear on this point. It wasn't just that they had the crack pipe being turned over.
It's all of it is exactly from the exact same interview. Okay, well, easy. Totally making an argument from skepticism about whether or not something exists makes sense, but it's really bizarre to do in regards to whether the definition of a word is correct or not. True. The subject matter was inappropriate as well, yeah? Okay. Yeah, that's also true too, is because he tried to make the argument at the end where he was saying like, oh, well, I actually came in as a neutral to see if you could convince me of your particular argument, but he wasn't there to be convinced of a particular argument. He was there to fight over the prompt, essentially, on if the prompt was definable or not, basically, yeah. Okay, wait, I just clicked this. This was nothing, right? Correct. Okay. Attorney General. Wait, not this. This would have been 5.3. I don't think Destiny is correct when it comes to standard use of agnosticism. Agnostic, Plato.stanford.edu. Atheism is polysemous. It has multiple related meanings. In the psychological sense of the word, atheism is a psychological state, specifically the state of being an atheist, where an atheist is defined as someone who is not atheist. An atheist is defined as someone who believes that God exists. This generates the following definition. Atheism is the psychological state of lacking the belief that God exists. In philosophy, however, the more specific, and more specifically in the philosophy of religion, the term atheism is standardly used to refer to the proposition that God does not exist, or more broadly, to the proposition that there are no gods. Thus, to be an atheist on this definition, it does not suffice to suspend judgment on whether there is a God, even though that implies a lack of theistic belief. Instead, one must deny that God exists. There is a difference between these two claims. Saying that God doesn't exist and saying that I don't have a position on it, these are not the same thing. This metaphysical sense of the word is preferred over other senses, including the psychological sense, not just by theistic philosophers. Okay, we'll see what they say for agnosticism. Maybe they do use a different definition than what I'm saying. The term agnostic and agnosticism was famously coined in the late 19th century by the English biologist, invented the word agnostic to denote people who, like himself, confess themselves to be hopelessly ignorant concerning a variety of matters, including, of course, the matter of God's existence, about which metaphysicians and theologians, both orthodox and heterodox, dogmatize with the utmost confidence. He did not, however, define agnosticism simply as the state of being agnostic. Instead, he often used the term to refer to a normative epistemological principle, something similar to, although weaker than, what we now call evidentialism. Roughly, Huxley's principle says that it is wrong to say that one knows or believes that a proposition is true without logically satisfactory evidence, but it was Huxley's application of this principle to theistic and agnostic belief that ultimately had the greatest influence on the meaning of the term. He argued that, since neither of those beliefs is adequately supported by evidence, we ought to suspend judgment on the issue of whether or not there is a God. Nowadays, the term agnostic is often used when the issue is God's existence to refer to those who follow the recommendation expressed in the conclusion of Huxley's argument. An agnostic is a person who has entertained the proposition that there is a God but believes neither that it is true nor that it is false. Not surprisingly, then, the term agnosticism is often defined both in and outside of philosophy, not as a principle or any other sort of proposition, but instead as the psychological state of being an agnostic. Call this the psychological sense of the term, but it is certainly useful to have a term to refer to people who are neither theists nor atheists, but philosophers might wish that some other term besides agnostic, theological skeptic, perhaps were used. The problem is that it is also very useful for philosophical purposes to have a name for the epistemological position that follows from the premise of Huxley's argument, The position that neither theism nor atheism is known, or, most ambitiously, that neither the belief that God exists nor the belief that God does not exist has positive epistemic status of any sort. Just as the metaphysical question of God's existence is central to philosophy of religion, so too is the epistemological question of whether or not theism or atheism is known or has some other sort of positive epistemic status, like being justified, rational, reasonable, or probable. And given the given the etymology of agnostic, what better term could there be for a negative answer to that epistemological question than agnosticism? Further, as suggested earlier, it is, for very good reason, typical in philosophy to use the suffix ism to refer to a proposition instead of to a state or condition, since only the former can sensibly be tested by argument. Okay. I don't know why I'm arguing this. Okay. There isn't a legal definition / agreed upon interpretation for insurrection that would make this a lot less ambiguous. Yes, there is. I gave historical examples for it. Like, I already did that. But Andrew Wilson didn't like those. So the problem is he didn't have any knowledge. Remember, there's no substance that we could debate on, right? Like, if it was a good faith debate on substance, then Andrew might instead offer up, well, here are competing historical claims to what an insurrection was, or here are competing historical claims about the interpretation at the time of what insurrection meant, or maybe even here are contemporaneous writings on people who are unsure of what insurrection means, but he offered none of that. Instead, it was just, it was an asinine debate on definition, but not like a good one. Hence it being asinine, I guess. Okay. Is Andrew Wilson gooning or edging? Depends on what you mean by... Please don't bait me into this. Atheists don't have an opposite because no religion claims knowledge. That is not true. You have a metaphysical and epistemological misunderstanding of many theists. Many theists will make epistemic and metaphysical claims about God and metaethical claims about morality coming from God. The idea that a theist says, oh no, like I think you can have Gnostic theists. You can have people who say, well, I don't know if you can have necessarily, this sort of epistemic construction that would allow you to make statements of true or false things about God or a metaphysical understanding of God, but like I still believe that he exists or something. I think you can have Gnostic theists, but a theist itself can be the opposite of an atheist, where theists are making positive claims. They think that if you're making statements about the existence of God, that these comport to some type of like valid, like logical statements that you can say that like God is real. God, the statement that God is real can be evaluated, or that you can find evidence for God. Yeah. Okay, I don't care. If you don't believe me, go read something else or go cite something that disagrees with me, okay? I'm not going to argue with rando fucking retards. Okay. Okay. Pressuring acting AG for false election claims. Okay. It's not this. Page up, page down. Okay. Oh wait, Gnostic I think means that you can have information. Agnostic means you can't. So a Gnostic theist You can have an agnostic theist and you have a Gnostic theist. A Gnostic theist, I think, it's been a long time since I've reading this. Okay. Okay. I think theism is a statement on whether you believe God exists or it doesn't, like a psychological state, and Gnosticism can be the epistemic statement of if you can have knowledge or not. So a Gnostic would say you can, and agnostic say you can't. But also, these terms are sometimes used differently depending on who the writer is or whatever. So, and also, suck my dick, don't care. All right. I feel like you should have called out Andrew and asked him what he was trying to accomplish with the argument besides win. Well, he would just say he just is trying to disprove my argument, yeah. Is it all of chapter 4? From 373 to 402. The DOJ found no significant evidence of fraud. The U.S. Attorney General William Barr knew there would be no trouble before all the votes had to be counted. So right out of the box on election night, the president claimed that there was major fraud underway. Barr explained, this happened, as far as I could tell, before there was actually any potential of looking at evidence. President Trump was quick to claim there was major fraud based solely on the phenomenon known as the red mirage. As explained elsewhere in the report, Democrats were more inclined to vote via mail-in ballot during the 2020 presidential election than Republicans, who were more likely to vote in person on election day. The basis for the broad claim is that America, we don't need any of this. We already don't care. Okay, we're going to put general things in here. President Trump began making claims of voter fraud the same night. The election, before all of the ballots had even been counted. Barr authorized on November 9th, 2 days after Biden was declared the winner. Investigations. Wait, we should say on November 9th, 2 days after Biden was declared the winner, Barr authorized when people like Ben Shapiro argue that the checks and balances worked on J6, so there was no insurrection, can you not just switch slightly to arguing that it was an attempted insurrection? There is no such thing as an attempted insurrection, just like there's no thing as an attempted rebellion. There either is rebellion or there is insurrection. That's it. If you attempt an insurrection, you are insurrecting. If you attempt a rebellion, you are rebelling. There is no such thing as an attempted rebellion or an attempted insurrection. Okay? There was widespread investigations by the DOJ, FBI into allegations of voter fraud. Barr took steps to investigate claims of fraud in 2021, even in the absence of evidence. Department of Justice, long-standing okay. November 7th, the media declared nothing has knowledge taken as indication the department has concluded. Okay. As Barr predicted, the president did call on him for information about alleged election fraud. First such meeting occurred on November 23rd, 2020. November 23rd. The Attorney General. Oh, do you know what the real mistake was? Fuck. When we were going to do 5 minutes each of internal critique, I shouldn't have skipped that. I wonder what Andrew would have done on my turn of the internal critique. I would have said, okay, well, my turn to critique your position. What is your position? I guess he would have said, well, my position is I'm neutral on it. And then I would say, well, how are you neutral? And I'd say, well, because I don't think there's a good definition for insurrection. And I'd be like, do you have any at all? And he's like, no, I haven't heard one. And then that would be it, I guess. That'd probably be it. Trump challenged him with a blizzard of conspiracy theories and 3 face-to-face meetings after the election. The first such meeting occurred on the 23rd. 23rd, the Attorney General spoke with White House counsel Pat Cipollone, who said that it was important for him to come to the White House to speak to Trump. Is it really Cipollone or is it Cipollone? I need to hear this name said. Hold on.
Pat Cipollone. Donald.
Oh, it is Cipollone. Why did I think it was Cipollone? Okay, Cipollone. On November 23rd, the Attorney General spoke with the White House counsel Pat Cipollone, who said that it was important for him to come to the White House to speak to Trump. Barr had not seen the president since before the election in late October, and the White House counsel believed that it was important. The AG explained what the Department of Justice was doing related to major claims of election fraud. The president the president said that there had been major fraud and that as soon as the facts were out, the results of the election would be reversed, Barr recalled. Do they comply with discovery rules and show you those 2 clips prior to the debate? Why didn't you submit any clips into evidence? What am I submitting? Because I'm not here to argue with past things that Andrew Wilson has said. Trump continued for quite a while, and Barr was expecting what came next. President Trump alleged that the Department of Justice doesn't think it has a role looking into these fraud claims. Barr anticipated this line of attack because the president's counsel, Rudolph Giuliani, was making all sorts of wild, unsubstantiated claims. And Giuliani wanted to blame the DOJ for the fact that no one had come up with any real evidence of fraud. Of course, by the time of this meeting, the U.S. Attorney's Office had been explicitly authorized to investigate substantial claims for 2 weeks and had yet to find any evidence of significant voter fraud. The U.S. Attorney's Office, is this the office that sits right underneath the Attorney General, Deputy Attorney General, and then beneath them because it's the Department of Justice. Hold on, where does this sit in the... It's part of the DOJ for a district? Would U.S. attorneys' offices just refer to any of the attorneys working at, like, the DOJ, or... I don't think matters so much. Barr explained to the president why he was wrong. The DOJ was willing to investigate any specific credible allegations of fraud. The fact of the matter with the claims being made were just not meritorious. We're not panning out. Barr emphasized to the president that DOJ doesn't take sides in elections and it's not an extension of your legal team. During the November 23rd meeting, Barr also challenged one of President Trump's central lies. He specifically raised the Dominion voting machines, which I found to be one of the most disturbing allegations. Disturbing, Barr explained, because there's absolutely zero basis for the allegations, which are being made in such a sensational way that they obviously were influencing a lot of people, members of the public. Migrants were being deceived into thinking that there was this systematic corruption in the system and that their votes didn't count and that with these machines controlled by somebody else actually determining it, which is complete nonsense. As Attorney General Barr left the meeting, he talked with Mark Meadows, the White House Chief of Staff, and Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law. I think he's becoming more realistic and knows that there's a limit to how far I can take this, Meadows said. At a set according to Barr, Kushner reassured Barr, we're working on this, we're working at it, or on it. Barr was hopeful that the president was going to accept reality. The opposite happened. I felt that things continued to deteriorate between the 23rd and 29th. Barr recalled, Barr was concerned because President Trump began meeting with the delegations of state legislators, and it appeared to him that there was maneuvering going on. Barr had no problem with challenging an election through the appropriate process, but worried that he didn't have any visibility of what was going on, and that the president was digging in. "23rd, Trump had a meeting with Barr. I don't know why the DOJ didn't have any strong cases yet for voter fraud. Barr explaining all of the accusations had been made or without merit." How are you going to structure your read on insurrection? What I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through, at the very least, with maybe some commentary YouTubers or whatever. I just want to walk through the whole thing with people, talk to them about it, find out at the end what was the most compelling, what was the least compelling, and then after doing that with like 2 or 3 people, then I can structure a short video on like what I would want to cover. Okay, you've got the Attorney General, the Deputy Attorney General, and under this you have the Solicitor General, Office of Solicitor General, Associate Attorney General, Office of Legislative Affairs, Office of Legal Counsel, Office of Public Affairs, Office of Legal Policy, Office of... Okay. When they said, what do they call it? Like the U.S. Attorneys? Executive Office for U.S. Attorneys? Oh, and U.S. Attorneys. Okay. Okay, so just U.S. Attorneys that answer to the AG, essentially. 93 United States Attorneys work to enforce federal laws throughout the country. Yeah, okay. President appoints a U.S. Attorney to each of the 94 federal districts. U.S. Attorney is the chief federal law enforcement officer in their district and is also involved in civil litigation with the United States as a party. Gotcha. Okay. Where would Jeffrey Clark be in that chart? Let's see. It would have been this. So Clark would have been part of the Environment and Natural Resources Division. He would have been down here, I think. He's responsible for bringing cases against those who violate the nation's environmental laws, as well as defending the federal government in litigation arising under a broad range of environmental statuses. I think that Clark, was the acting head of the Environment and Natural Resources Division, I think. I'm sorry. He was the Assistant Attorney General for the Environment and Natural Resources Division. So that means that there would have been an Attorney General, I think, for the ENRD. There would have been, I think, a Deputy Attorney General of the ENRD. And then there would have been the Assistant Attorney General, I believe. So he would have been third in line in this. So this was the guy third in line down here who, in a department that sits underneath the Associate AG, was telling the Attorney General that he was going to replace him. No, they are all assistants. Only Barr is Attorney General, I think. Are you sure? Many of the divisions and offices of the United States Department of Justice are headed by an Assistant Attorney General. Okay, nope, never mind. Then he would have been the head of this. Okay. So it would go AG, Deputy AG, and then you have the Associate AG, and then underneath the Associate AG, you would have had this department, of which he was the head of this department, I believe. Yes, okay, yeah, because Todd Kim here is the assistant attorney general here. Okay, so he would have sat there. Still pretty far away from leadership, but... November 29th, Trump claimed that the election was rigged and rife with fraud. He repeated various conspiracy theories, including the Dominion thing. Where is the DOJ and FBI in all this, Mr. President? Bartiromo asked. You've laid out some serious charges here. Shouldn't this be something that the FBI is investigating? Are they? Is the DOJ investigating? Missing in action, the president replied. Can't tell you where they are. He conceded that when he asked if the DOJ and FBI were investigating, everyone says yes, they're looking at it. Where is this? I want to see this. Trump, Fox News, first interview, November 29th.
Where is the DOJ and the FBI in all of this, Mr. President? You have laid out some serious charges here. Shouldn't this be something that the FBI is investigating? Are they?
Missing in
Is the
action.
DOJ investigating?
Missing in action. Can't tell you where they are. I ask, are they looking at it? Everyone says yes, they're looking at it. Look, where are they with Comey, McCabe, and all these other people? You know, I said I'll stay out of it. I wish I didn't make that statement.
I said I'll stay out of it. A fucking lie, by the way. A total fucking lie, but...
There's no reason really why I have to. But where are they with Comey, with McCabe, with Brennan, with all these people? They lied to Congress. They lied. They leaked. They spied in our campaign. I see Carter Page is bringing a lawsuit. That's good news. Where are they with all of this stuff? And, you know, what happened to Durham? Where's Durham? So, you know, you're asking me a question. These people have been there a long time. And I know FBI, and FBI is great at the levels that we talk about. But it's inconceivable. You would think if you're in the FBI or Department of Justice, this is the biggest thing you could be looking at. Where are they? I've not seen anything. I mean, they just keep moving along, and they go on to the next president.
Where?
And that means defeating Kamala Harris in a landslide. And that means
Oh no. Oh no, not the misspeaks. So what is he?
Where is the DOJ? Where is the DOJ and the FBI in all of this, Mr. President? You have laid out some serious charges here. Shouldn't this be something that the FBI is investigating? Are they? Is the DOJ investigating?
He said staying out of it, right?
Missing in action. Can't tell you where they are. I ask, are they looking at it? Everyone says yes, they're looking at it. Look, where are they with Comey, McCabe, and all these other people? You know, I said I'll stay out of it. I wish I didn't make that statement. There's no reason really why I have to. But where are they with Comey, with McCabe, with Brennan, with all these people? They lied to Congress. They lied. They leaked. They spied in our campaign. I see Carter Page is bringing a lawsuit. That's good news. Where are they with all of this stuff? And, you know, what happened to Durham? Where's Durham? So, you know, you're asking me a question. These people have been there a long time. And I know FBI, and FBI is great at the levels that we talk about, but it's inconceivable. You would think if you're in the FBI or Department of Justice, this is the biggest thing you could be looking at. Where are they? I've not seen anything. I mean, they just keep moving along, and they go on to the next president.
Just moving along. Moving along. Do you not find it wild that the President of the United States is giving interviews on a partisan news network? LeMayo, did Obama just do call-ins to news shows? I don't know. Did Obama ever like call in to CNN or MSNBC? Did he ever do that? This would have been November 29th, 2020. Wow, why do I have some of my dates like not? People said Biden called in to MSNBC. Have you gone through the voter fraud stuff since I was with the MAGA's hide? No, there is no voter fraud stuff to go over. There's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. There's nothing. At this point, they've dropped basically every allegation there. Some might bring up like other stuff that they don't know has been debunked, like all the cyber ninja shit. The only thing that some people will try to fight on now are that some procedures might not have been allowed. But on that, they're also empty. They have nothing. There's nothing. November 29th, 2020. Fox News. November 29th. Control Shift V, right? Wait, is the paste with no hello? Okay, whatever. Okay, this was July 2020. Just 6 days earlier, Attorney General Barr had explained to President Trump how the DOJ and the FBI were investigating fraud claims. Barr also made it a point to emphasize that the Dominion claims were nonsense. The president simply lied. The crazy stuff, as Barr put it, was all Trump could cite. Attorney General Barr then decided to speak out. He invited Michael Balsamo, an AP reporter, to lunch on December 1st. Barr told the journalists that today we've seen no fraud on a scale that could have effected a different outcome in the election. That made the president irate. Uh-oh. Let's see. This is footnote 49. Be on page. Wait. On December 1st. Let's see. Say an interview. Can you bring about Trump stop the Republicans from passing the border deal? Nope. I don't think that's really related to anything here. June 28th, 2022. Oh god, I fucked something up here. June 28th. Is this 2024-07? No, wait. 2023-08. Nope, 2024. Second, 2020. Okay. Jesus. Jesus, what are these guys all doing? As is, what do you want? Okay. A-Train, what do you want?
Oh, Destiny. Holy shit. Hey, what's up?
Nothing much. What's up?
So I actually have a question for you.
Okay, well, that's a disagreement room, but okay.
I'm in disagreement because I was debating people in the room.
Oh my
God. So, yeah, you know how it is. But so, I actually have a really good question for you. So I'm very liberal. I'm registered Republican, but the way the right has leaned, can't fuck with it anymore. And I'm sorry if I'm cursing if I'm not allowed, but yeah. So I have a cousin that is like very actively like pro Trump. He's not MAGA, but he's reciting every single Republican MAGA side point. So how do I fight that when when Joe Biden was missing due to COVID for like a couple of days, and
how do you fight every single conservative talking point? I don't know. Jesus.
No. I'm asking specifically where it's a situation where I know this person's sane, but he's like biting into every single right-leaning thing.
I don't know. You have to ask him how they arrive at truthful statement. I don't know, bro. I don't know your fucking friend. Damn, I'm not sure.
All right. So I'll give you a more straightforward thing. So I brought up January 6th to them, and I brought up.
All you can do is like walk through the record. Have them like, let's sit down and
I literally did. I brought them word for word. I literally
And what'd they say?
They said no. It's like it's not real.
Well, then tell them they're retarded. There's literally nothing you can do. I mean, how do you debate an insane person? You can't do anything. The person is fucking retarded. Cut him out of your life forever. Stop talking to him. Boom. Easy.
But that's my cousin, and I love him. Yeah. How do I deal with that? How do I bring the insane to the sane?
I don't know. Good luck. Tell me when you figure it out, though. I can use it on my parents.
Yeah, I'll let you know.
Zog, you're up.
Yeah, when you were saying you can't call it an insurrection or like attempted or failed or whatever, isn't the reason we normally do that when we say something has happened, we're usually making the presumption that it's like it was successful? Isn't that like the reason we say that?
No, probably the vast majority of insurrections are unsuccessful. What?
Like if I'm saying I threw out the garbage, I'm not saying like I attempted it, because normally the assumption is like I did. I could just be off on this. That's just the way I've always like interpreted it.
I mean, it depends on what. It depends on the thing you're talking about.
Well, yeah, but actually wait, no, does it? I can't. Like, I'm trying to think of other examples. Like whatever default assumes someone means failed if they said I did X.
Okay, what if I attempted to defame somebody, but it didn't actually do damage to their reputation? Would you call it attempted defamation? Yeah, you still call it defamation. There was no damage.
Well, yes, but you would say that it's different. Like the defamation itself, and then the result of it being successful are separate. I would say.
You would still call it defamation, though. You would never say he engaged in attempted defamation. That guy attempted to defame me.
Well, if somebody said something like completely fucking laughable, maybe. Like if he said this guy is completely poopy, like you'd probably say attempted at best. But
I don't think that's defamation. Like I don't.
I won't lie. I mainly joined that channel to see what they were arguing about. It was age of consent. It's always age of consent.
Okay.
But thank you.
Good luck.